Yes guys, welcome back to another ranking video. Today we are using the tier list again, and we're going to be ranking the best rule breakers from God tier to great value to fair priced, overpriced, and also some with better options. So for those of you who don't know, if there's a player that's out, but there's just, let's say it's a centre back, but it's from the Bundesliga and it has a lot of pace, it's kind of like there's already so many options that are fairly affordable. It kind of makes sense to just putting them into a tier called better options. So that's what we're going to be doing today. But before we get into the video, if you want to buy some cheap Ultimate Team coins, make sure to go and check out igvault.com and use a discount code EGHD at the checkout to get yourself 6% off your order. So as I was saying guys, we have all the rule breakers that are out right now. We have Team 1, Team 2, all the SBCs and all the objectives. Of course, if there are any more SBCs or objectives that come out after this video, I can't just magically put them into the video like that. So that's why, there are this many players, probably cutting off slightly a couple on the side, on the right side of the screen. So without further ado, of course we have SBCs that have two versions. We're also going to rank the two different versions. So let's kick things off with Gosens. So Gosens obviously has two different versions. We're just going to pop him into fair for now, and we're going to pop this one into fair price for now. Now let's have a look at these actual versions of his card. First of all, he's 45,000 coins. That's going to be great value as it is. I'm going to put them both into great value, but which one would I actually pick out of these two? So we've got one with better shooting, and we've also got one with better defensive stats. For me personally, I would go for the better defensive stats. I feel like even with the better shooting, because his dribbling is a little bit lower, I probably wouldn't want to use him as an attacker as much, just because I feel like we're at the stage now where at least our attackers should have about 86, 87 dribbling to start off with, plus maybe a finisher chem style, plus an engine chem style, whatever you may use to boost that dribbling stats. That's how I feel for attackers right now. So I think the best one to go for is going to be his defensive one. So let's put them both into great value. I think even if you pick the one with 87 shooting, he's such a unique card. You can play him in the left mid position. You can link Hernandez from the Serie A in a 4-5-1. Then you can put like Goretzka in the cam position because he's German, so you've got that nice link into the Bundesliga. You can go and play Lewandowski. You can go and play Erling Harland. So yeah, it's a nice card that opens up options for building teams. Next up, we have Arnautovic. I actually used him in not this weekend league, the last weekend league when he first come out, and I was happy to pay like 50 or 60,000 coins. This card's stats are insane. I think he has something like 90 balance, and he's like 6 foot ridiculous, something like 6'4" or 6'5". I can't even remember now, but he's very tall. One thing I would say about this card is, even though his balance and his dribbling stats are really high, at times you did notice that he had really long legs, and sometimes you'd want to, you're using your left stick to dribble and you're trying to pull the ball back, but he's like a lot slower than someone that's a smaller player with the same dribbling stats. So there is definitely something in it with the body types and stocks, but great value. He's looking at about 30 to 35,000 coins right now. If he gets into the high 20s, which he may be as I'm doing this video, that is just insane value. Of course, he doesn't get very good strong links, but the Serie A is so strong this year, you really don't need many strong links to just build a team like a full Serie A team. And that leads me on to I don't even know how I'm going to pronounce his name. Kulusevsky. Okay, so we had this card last year. I think it was a Future Stars card. I might be incorrect. There's so many different promos, different versions of cards. But yeah, he was a better card last year. I think because he actually was released later in the year. Usually as cards are released later in the year, they're going to be better. But yeah, this card is still amazing. And I was actually surprised to see him under 100,000 coins because of the stigma, well not stigma, the what's the word, the nostalgia or something from the previous version of the card, if that makes sense. A lot of people would have used his old card on the previous FIFA and thought, you know what, this is a really good card, and he's still got 93 pace, 89 dribbling, 81 shooting, so it's been downgraded 2 or 3 in some areas, but it's still a solid card. And at the moment in the Serie A, we only have really Chiesa, so to have this card is a big upgrade in that position, and it's not too expensive. So I think that's still, I'm going to put it as great value, but it could probably be in the fair as well. Actually, you know what? We're going to leave it in fair because 100,000 coins is not cheap. But yeah, you're still getting 93 pace, 89 dribbling. So I don't know, it's somewhere between fair and great value. We're just going to leave it in fair. Otherwise, we're going to have a whole tier list of great value. Right then, let's go for the big boy. Currently, this Suarez is the most expensive rule breakers. Now, the thing is, Team 2 just come out, so as the week progresses, he may go down in price and it may be Dembele as the highest or the most expensive, because Dembele, I think, is the second, and I think Harland is the third most expensive out of the rule breakers. But 90 pace Suarez at this point of the game, because, we're probably going to get some kind of flashback, later in the game, we don't know. 87 dribbling, 87 shooting. He's got 3-star skills, remember. 4-star weak foot. It's an amazing card. Is it God tier? I'm really split between God tier and overpriced, because overpriced, you're looking at just under 1 million coins. Now, it all depends on what happens. As I'm making this video, I don't know what's going to happen in the future. If this card comes down to, say, 600,000 coins, I would say, you know, this is a good God tier card worth having. But I can't really put Suarez into God tier when you have a player like a hero card, Morientes. Now, Morientes isn't as good as Suarez. He's slightly, you know, not quite as good. I think he has 90 shooting, so he does have better shooting stats. I know Suarez is going to feel a bit better in game. His dribbling is going to be a bit better, but he does have 4-star skills, and he's about 150 to 200,000 coins, which at this point is 1/5 of the price of Suarez. So right now, I think Suarez is overpriced, but if he gets cheaper, then maybe we could put him up, you know, into like a fair or even God tier, just because I think his price is more acceptable. And just to have a look at his price, see, look, 910,000 on Xbox and PlayStation. Morientes about 180,000. And look at the kind of cards you're getting. Of course, you'd probably put a balanced, an engine chem style on both of these players to boost the dribbling and the pace and stuff. But I just think the value is just not there right now. So I think he's overpriced. But if he comes down to maybe 600-ish or 700, then maybe you can start saying, you know, it's worth it just for the extra few you know, pace and stuff like that, extra dribbling. Next player we have is going to be Kessie. Now, I absolutely love this gold card. The 84 rated Kessie has played over 100 games for me because I've been using him with Barella. And now Kessie is kind of like your big CDM, stay back whilst attacking player, and I absolutely love him. But for some reason, this rule breaker has kind of evened up his stats, and I think he's actually lost a little bit of physical stats, and that's kind of what makes Kessie. So I'm not really a fan of how the stats have kind of gone onto his card. I would have liked to see him keep a little bit of the stats, just see some boosts in other areas. And I think because of that reason, I can't really say that he's great value. I don't think he's God tier. I think he would have been God tier if he kept his physical stats and, you know, he's a big CDM still. But I just think that maybe a fair price is, you know, is one of the best, or maybe the best CDM from the Serie A. So I think fair price. Let me just check his price. So to be fair, he is 250,000 coins, but as you can see here, his 84 rated has 3 more physical stats, and that was actually on his strength and aggression. Is it going to make much difference? Maybe I'm being a little bit too sensitive to that. Maybe he actually deserves to be higher. Maybe he deserves to be in the God tier. I don't know. I think 250,000 coins for a CDM, that's not going to get money. Actually, he can strong link Hernandez left back. So you know what? We're going to leave him in fair, but it's still quite a lot of coins to pay for a CDM. And here we go. This is the one that everyone wanted. Before rule breakers even come out, there was rumours, there were leaks, and we got it. It's the 5-star Usman Dembele, and he hasn't disappointed. 88 pace, 89 dribbling, 86 shooting. Now, the thing is, his actual gold card has more pace, but it doesn't matter because you're going to be putting a Hunter Chem style on him anyway, so you're going to pretty much max out his pace, except now he's got the shooting stats. I think he has better dribbling now as well. So just overall, you're getting an amazing card, and he is a God tier. Do I think he's a little bit expensive? He is very expensive, but this is what happens when you get someone that is like 5-star in this position. You don't get that on many players. So yeah, he's got to be God tier. No one could disagree with that. Absolutely no one could disagree with God tier. I know there's going to be some comments about maybe Suarez and some of, you know, other positions, but no one can argue that Dembele is God tier. Next we have Dante. So obviously this is a SBC. I think he come in at around 100 to maybe 110,000 coins to complete this SBC. I think it was 2 SBCs, so you would have got 2 packs with that as well. The problem with me and this card is that, first of all, Brazilian, you know, nationality this year isn't as good as it has been in previous years. It seems to be France. The French players seem to be taking over. So yeah, we've also got Marquinhos, we've got Kimpembe from this league. So how are you actually going to get him into a team and actually be better than Kimpembe or be better than Marquinhos? I think it's, I wouldn't say it's overpriced, because at the end of the day, you are getting a fantastic player. And maybe if you guys have a lot of untradables that are 84, 85 rated in your club, and you wanted a reason to get rid of them, I can fully understand you doing this SBC. So that's why I'm going to put Dante in the fair price. Although I've got to say, if you paid for this outright, if you weren't using untradables, I've got to question your thinking behind this, because Marquinhos, obviously Brazilian, better team to get strong links with, and Kimpembe is cheaper and has a better nationality to build teams with. So that's what I think about that one. I think it's a fair price, but at the same time, I personally didn't do it. Right, this one is really tough for me, because when I come up against Phil Foden, He's really good. Anyone who uses him, his dribbling is insane. It only says 83 dribbling, but I just know that's going to be a lie. It's going to feel like 88 or 90 or something ridiculous. He's got a very unique way of dribbling with the ball. So, for example, I think Phil Foden will be better at dribbling than Arnautovic, even though his card stats says 89 versus 83. So we all know that. We all know his dribbling is going to be amazing. The problem that I have with this card is I don't know what position he suits. Because he can play centre mid, he's got a little bit of defensive stats, but you don't really want to play him centre mid, do you? You don't really want to play him winger because, you know, just a gold Sterling has more pace. He's probably going to be a better attacking winger. He might not be as good at shooting, but, you know, what I'm trying to say is he doesn't really outright suit a main position. He can do a lot of positions really, really well. So for me, I just feel like this card just has better options, especially when you think about how much this card costs. Now, the weird thing about this card is, if I packed him and I got him untradeable, I would definitely want to build a team around him because I know he's good and I'll try to get him in and find what position really suits him. But I do have a problem with, you know, which positions they are. So I don't know. It's a really tough card to kind of rank. I think it's a little bit, well, I don't know if it's expensive because obviously the Man City as well. You can link to Kevin De Bruyne, can link to a few players. But yeah, I think there are better options. If you wanted a centre mid, there are going to be better options. You've got Kante if you want a CDM. You've got Kevin De Bruyne. You've got Bruno Fernandes. You've got players that will do just as good a job for less coins. So I just think better options all the way around. Next, we have a left back from the Bundesliga. And you know what? I'm just going to put this into God tier. We all know when we come up against Davies, he is just, you can't get past him. You can't run past him anyway. He's so fast. With this Rulebreaker card, he has lost a little bit of pace, but does it matter because you're going to be putting a Shadow Chem style, you're still going to max out his pace, and obviously he's got a defensive boost. I think he's got a physical boost as well. He might even have like dribbling, passing, I can't quite remember. Definitely has a shooting boost. 84 shooting is crazy. In fact, he would actually make a pretty decent left winger, or left mid actually. So yeah, it's a very weird card, the way that the stats are just now completely changed. He could play any position on the left side. So I think it's God tier. Especially if you're from the Bundesliga and you have a lot of coins, you're definitely going to be going for this player. So for me, definitely God tier as a left back and a left mid or left wing. So just amazing player. Next up, we have the SBC and Kunku. So we've got both of these versions, just like Gosens. So with these cards, the only difference is going to be the shooting stats. You get plus 10 on the shooting version, or with the passing one, you get so much. You basically get plus 19, which is a huge amount for passing. And if I had to complete this SBC, I would definitely go for the passing in Kunku. I'd play him as a centre mid. I personally feel like, yes, you will notice a difference between the shooting, but a lot of the time, I think the passing stats are more important, especially on FIFA 22. I found that passing and moving has become more important. It depends on your play style. Some of you may not pass as much. You may be, you know, in positions to shoot outside the box. I don't know what kind of play style you have. You might be doing time shooting, but personally, I think passing, and I think most people have actually completed the passing version of this card. Now, personally, I think this is a fair price. We saw the Team of the Week card. It was very good. I think it was like 30 to 50,000 coins until this come out, and it kind of impacted his price a little bit. Now, this card is much better, so I think it's worth paying the premium for this card. And as I said, the French league is the French nationality is the nationality to go for this year. You're going to be able to build so many different hybrids and teams out of the French nationality. So yeah, I think it's kind of a fair price to pay, but it's definitely not great value because it was quite expensive still, the SBC. Another one here, Casemiro, one of the highest rated players from Rulebreakers. I think he's tied as the highest rated with, you know, players like Suarez, 90 rated basically, and he's so cheap. You're looking at 50,000 coins, and I really can't work it out because I know that 70 pace for your CDM is a little bit on the slow side, but I've come up against people that have actually had this card, and I thought, you know, he was actually pretty good. I think his normal card has 65 pace. This one has 86 shooting, so it's had a shooting upgrade. And I think, yeah, he's going to be an amazing CDM. Personally, I don't know if I would use him just simply because of the pace, but what I'm saying is, because he's 90 rated, the pack weight is going to be quite low. I can't believe he's 50,000 coins. I reckon this is worth at least 80, maybe 100,000. He perfect links Vinicius Jr. We've had 2 Team of the Weeks of that card. You've got Benzema Player of the Month. You've got, well, any player from Real Madrid, basically. So, yeah, I really like this card. I think it's great value. Can't say anything more other than that, really. Another fantastic value card is going to be Rypot. So, obviously, he's a striker, but realistically, most people are going to be using this player as a centre mid because, you know, you're gonna get much better strikers. Ben Yedder, for example. But Rypot has 80 defense, 80 physical stats. He's almost Rud Hullet gang with 80 stats in every position. Well, this is the old school Rud Hullet. Now, it's not really a rare thing that everyone, you know, you have players with 80 plus stats in these positions. But, yeah, amazing cards. I think you were looking at under 20,000 coins for him. From the French league, so getting strong links is pretty easy. The problem, well, I say problem, it's not a problem, but we have Ben Yedder, and then we have his Team of the Week version, Tuchu Many, I think his name is, something like that. That card is like 30,000 coins. I'd say it's probably a better CDM, but you also have this as another option. So just plenty of options from the League One now with the centre mids. Talking about League One centre mids, we have a Verratti here. Now, Verratti, I would say it's not great value, but I think it's a fair price to pay. At first, I was thinking, what's the point? Like 72 pace on a small player as well. But the thing is, this is one of those cards, and I was talking to someone else about it, but basically, in a month or so's time, maybe 2 months' time, there'll be a reason that you really wanted a centre mid from PSG to get strong links with. And you know what? He's an SBC. You're going to get some packs in return. He's got some great stats. Is he ideal? Is he going to be your end game centre mid? No. But 72 pace is usable, and his 81 defensive stats, 88 physical, 93 dribbling. His dribbling is going to be amazing. His shooting's terrible, but I still think this is a fair price to pay because of the strong links this year. PSG are obviously very good. So I think, you know what, if you completed this, especially if you completed it with untradables, then fair play to you. Next, we have Erling Harland, and I think I will be putting him in the overpriced tier again. 91 pace, 84 dribbling, 91 physical, 87 shooting, 90 passing. He's expensive. That's the only reason why. Obviously, this card's amazing. He's got 3-star skills and 3-star weak foot. And I think that if you're playing against someone that knows how to defend Haaland, he's kind of like a bit of a one-trick pony in FIFA. I'm just talking about FIFA, guys. Don't get offended. But yeah, I feel like it's just a lot of coins to pay for a player that's big, strong, and tall. So I think he's overpriced. It's kind of like Suarez, where a few more stats in the right areas, or maybe an upgrade to his weak foot, or even skill moves, could start to put him towards more of the God tier section. But because of his price and the way that FIFA 22, you know, the playstyle of FIFA 22, I think he's got to go in the overpriced section. So we have Goalkeeper Lopez. Now, this one's really tricky because I thought, you know what, that's quite a cool thing to do to a card, to upgrade his reflexes to like 96. He's got 89 diving, 84 positioning, 82 handling. So what would his actual in-game stats, like not his in-game stats, his actual overall value be? I'd probably say like 87 rated or 88 rated. I don't know. It's probably about 80, maybe. Yeah, 87, I think. So there's no way to find out when on his foot bin. And you know, when you put a chem style on, you can't actually see his in-game stats. That would affect his overall rating. But other than that, it's a cool card. But at the moment, right now, you don't get any strong links with him that you'd really want. You know, Kimpembe, Marquinhos, you're going to want a Donnarumma, or you're going to want, you know, a Navas or something like that. So I just think there are better options. But I do like the fact that EA have taken a goalkeeper and upgraded some stats massively, just for a bit of a change, really. So this one, we have an Antonio objective card. So obviously, because you don't actually pay for him, I can't really rank him based on the value of coins that you pay, but I can rank him based on the amount of time takes to complete him. Now, personally, I just think the amount of time it takes to complete this Rulebreaker card, it's not really worth it. He's not going to stay in your team for much more than a couple of weeks, if that. 83 dribbling isn't great. I mean, if he was, you know, high physical stats, like really high physical stats, like Lukaku type of strong, with that pace and shooting, I'd say, you know what, go ahead and complete it. But with 83 dribbling and only 79 physical, I just think the amount of time, you're looking at Jamaican as well, you know, strong links aren't going to come easy. So I think for the time, it's going to be a bit too much time to complete that. Unless you've got loads of time on your hands, then fair enough. Another one here, we have Coates. We're going to be putting him into the fair price. It's fair price because realistically, you know, it's very limited based on the league. 76 pace as well. It's not really like, you know, so fast that you think, oh, I've got to build a team with this player in. He's just not going to be great value. He's just there, isn't he? He's 86. He's in a bad league, so that's going to be a fair price. Another 5-star skills, 5-star weak foot player we have is Corona. He's coming in at about 80,000 coins right now. And the good thing about this card is, yes, he doesn't play for a very good league, but you do get a strong link with a right back. I think his name is Manafa, or something along those lines. And his stats are really good. So what you can do is play like a 4-5-1, put that card right back, obviously Corona in right mid, and you've got a strong link there. That means that they've got full chemistry. You can go ahead and build yourself a hybrid for the rest of the team. So building a team with Corona is actually very good. I think this is a fair price to pay. I don't think he's one of those cards that, you know, you'd force to build a team around. But if you fancied using something fun that's still, you know, good in game, a bit meta basically, then Corona makes sense with the 5-star. 5-star, 87 pace, 88 dribbling, 86 shooting, only 60 defensive stats. I think he's actually lost defensive stats, but you're going to be playing him as an attacker anyway, so it doesn't matter. I think it's a fair price. Quite a low rated rule breakers here. We have Kappa. And of course, this card is going to be rivaling Jesus Navas, who currently has 3 versions. We've got the gold cards, we've got the team of the week, and we've got the UCL. Of course, very expensive for the UCL. I think he was looking at 1 point, maybe 120, 130,000 coins. I think this card has kind of impacted it. I think, well, just generally over the last couple of weeks, it's come down anyway to about 80 or 90,000 coins. And I think Kappa is about 30 to 40,000 coins. So yeah, that's very, very good value for this league, basically. Eventually, he will have some really good strong links, and I think 87 pace, 83 defensive stats, and 83 physical is really good. So I like this card a lot. I think it's great value. I would definitely pick this Kappa over a Jesus Navas if it wasn't just for, you know, getting strong links with the Jesus Navas, if it was just a matter of getting links. Here we have Gundogan as well, 87 rated. Definitely not overpriced because he's very cheap, but does he go into great value or does he go into the fair category? And I think what I'm going to do is probably leave him in fair. The reason why is because he has 70 pace, and I know that, you know, Casemiro has 70 pace, but the thing is about this card is he has 87 defending. He has 77. So he is a playmaker, whereas Casemiro is a stay back whilst attacking CDM, which I think if you're going to have only 70 pace, it makes sense if they're going to be staying back. Whereas Gundogan, if he's going to be a box-to-box centre mid, he's going to be running around a lot, and he's going to, you know, people are just going to be passing around him. He's not going to be able to be, he's not going to be fast enough to actually grab the ball and get it off him. So I feel like personally for me, and you know, especially if you're like Division 1 or elite kind of rivals level, then you're going to struggle to use this card against people of similar, you know, divisions basically. So yeah, I think it's a fair price though. Germany as well from Man City, so lots of different links that you can build teams around into the Bundesliga or to Kevin De Bruyne and Man City players basically. Now this card right here, 82 rated, it's 100% going into great value. It is kind of weird because, as I said, it's only 82 rated. He's got 87 pace, 88 dribbling. I think he has something like 99 agility or 96 agility. I remember 2 stats that were like balance and agility were like both high 90s, and that's really important for dribbling, of course. Obviously, this is in a terrible, terrible league, and if you're going to be building a team and you needed an English right mid or right wing, you've probably got more coins to spend than like 13,000 coins. So a lot of people aren't actually going to be picking him up. But I guarantee you, at some point, this card is going to be really, really valuable because there's an objective or some kind of thing that comes out that makes people need to use a player from this league, or just over time as people get rid of him or forget about him in the club, he will creep up to like 20,000 coins to 30,000 coins. So I really like this card. I think it's a great value. I obviously wouldn't go out and build a team around him, but for people that are on a really low budget, I can see him being worth it. Next, we have Trent Alexander-Arnold, and you know what? I'm going to be putting him into God tier. Now, let me explain what I mean by God tier in this sense. If you actually got this player untradeable, you would probably use this player as your right back for the next 3 months. Probably, it depends on, maybe you might pack someone from a different league in the future, which makes you want to use a different league or whatever. But for 90 pace, 83 defensive stats, an 89 rated card here, like you're getting a lot of cards. Personally, would I go around, go out and build a team and try to get him in? Probably not, because it's just a defender. I think, left backs and right backs is, you don't really want to spend much more than a few 100,000 coins. But at this stage of the game, this is an incredible card. It's definitely the best right back. I know a lot of people say that they'd rather just use Walker. I think if you have coins to spend on Walker or Trent, then you're probably going to go for Walker anyway. But, you know, he is definitely the better right back in my opinion. Bamba, I think this card, you know what, I think it's overpriced. Right now, I think he was coming in at about 200,000 coins. And yeah, it's just, I think maybe even 300. Actually, you know what? I take it back. I've had a little bit of a closer look at Bamba's stats. And as we know, he is French, which means building teams with him is going to be easy. We have Mendy left back. We have Hernandez left back. So getting links and building different hybrids with this player is actually going to be quite easy. The only reason I would say that he may be a little bit overpriced is if you want to use a Diaby from the previous rule breakers, because obviously he is very good as well. Currently, Diaby's coming in at about 75,000 coins. Bamba's coming in at about 200,000 coins, but Team 2 was just released, so I reckon he'll probably settle at about 150, 160. And his stats are a little bit better. Also, Diaby only has 2-star weak foot. I think Bamba has at least 3 or 4-star weak foot. So you know what? Overall, I think it's a fair price to pay. He's going to be very good in game. You'd probably want to put something like, not a Deadeye because his passing is already really good, but something to boost his shooting stats because it's only 81. Maybe even a Hawk. I don't know. I don't know what his physical stats are like his actual strength. But yeah, it's a nice card. David Silva. David Silva is obviously a card that is so cheap you can't put him in overpriced, and you can't really say, well, I guess you can say there's better options, but for the price, can you really say there's better options? He's like 20,000 coins. 87 pace, 83 dribbling, 89 passing. He's a good box-to-box midfielder. He hasn't got the best defensive stats. He's not very strong. So if you packed him untradeable, would you force him into a team? I would say no. Maybe if you wanted a cheap untradeable team, then you could probably use him. He's definitely usable. Definitely usable for squad battles, but I don't know if you could actually play in like the elite division or, you know, Division 1 or whatever. So, I don't know. I think it's a fair price to pay. Next, we have centre-back Rudiger. So, he's coming in about 300-ish thousand coins. He's from the Premier League. He's German. We've actually seen quite, I'll say this about the Germans, but they're good to build, you know, different teams, different hybrids with. 84 pace, 87 defensive stats. With a Shadow Chem style, this card is going to be one of the best centre-backs right now on FIFA. Maybe top 5, definitely top 10 centre-backs right now on FIFA. Is he God tier? If you packed him untradeable, let me know in the comments, right? Would you use this player for 3 months at least? I would say at least a month. I would probably, you know, put him into teams for at least a month. But I think after a month or so, I get bored of using players that are centre-backs with low balance or, you know, agility, because it just annoys me. But I think he is probably good enough to be a God tier or class as a God tier, just simply because if you did get him, you'd probably want to use him for probably a couple of months at least, just to make use of, you know, how good he is. Now this card, guys, as I was making this video, I could not believe it, how cheap this Zakaria is. 79 pace with 85 defensive stats, but he's so strong. 89 physical stats, 89 dribbling as well with 80 passing. So this is a rock solid CDM. You're looking at about 40,000 coins. So the Bundesliga is looking really strong here. If you wanted to build a team, you know, with the Bundesliga, you've got to go for Zakaria if you can actually get the chemistry. So obviously the problem is, you know, strong links. There are some strong links, but they're not going to be matching the same quality as Zakaria. You're looking at players like Mbabu. I think there's a goalkeeper and a centre-back. Is it a Kanji? I don't know what versions of a Kanji we've had this year, but I don't think they live up to the same standard as Zakaria. But amazing card. Definitely great value for this card. Sangari, I mean, who's going to use this card? It's just one of them. I think for an objective, he's going to, you know, spike up in price, whether that's, you know, to do with his nationality or to do with the league. So 74 pace, 83 defensive stats. He's not that strong, so his pace is quite slow considering he's not that strong. It's kind of like, well, look at Verratti. He's really weak, only 72 pace, and I put him into the fair category already. 88 passing though, so he's got some nice stats, but there's not really much else to say about him. I'm not going to be building a team. I don't think anyone plans to intend, you know, to actually use this player. Here we have Onyeka, and I think this player is overpriced. I just do. When I first realised it, I think he's about 80,000 coins now, maybe a little bit less, but at one point it was like 100,000 coins. I was like, really? Really? Like 82 pace, 85 defensive stats. So obviously it's because he's from the Premier League. He is going to have, you know, the links to Premier League players, and the alternative is going to be Kante. And Kante is really expensive, but Kante is head and shoulders above Onyeka. I just think he's overpriced. And the nationality also puts me off as well. Well, he's not going to get many strong links with his club or his nationality. So I think realistically, you know, down at 40,000 coins like Zakaria, it kind of makes more sense. He'd be fairly priced if he was down at that price. And finally, we have Makis. And I do like this card. I think it's a fair price because he's not that expensive. 87 dribbling, 85 pace. He's also got the boost to his physical stats. He was a very, very good card on previous years of FIFA with the special cards that we got. He got some really, really beastly upgrades, but he wasn't that expensive or that high rated. But overall, I think it's a fair price to pay. He's not the great nationality, but you know, you're in a decent-ish league. So there we go, guys. This is my tier list for the rule breakers. And I know that if you've just skipped to this bit, you'll be like, why is that player in that bit? I've tried my best to explain why I've used certain tiers. Obviously with Gosens here, we've got different versions of them. Some versions I prefer more than others. Same with Nkunku as well. There was one card which for some reason was not included in the tier list. That is Diaby, as we mentioned when we was, you know, around Bamba. Again, for 75,000 coins, I think that's either going to be in great value or fair priced. So for those of you that are thinking, you know, why didn't I include him? Sometimes they just get missed when you're adding them into these little tier list makers. But overall, the big players, Suarez and Harland, I just think are too expensive. They're way overpriced. I've noticed that this year, you know, the low tier, the mid tier are really, really cheap, but the top tier players are just way too expensive. So hopefully they come down in price. Close to, like, you know, with Harland, I think 300,000 to 400,000 coins, and Suarez maybe 600,000 to 700,000 coins. That would be a much better price for what you're getting. If you've disagreed with any of the people that I've put into different tiers, let me know in the comment section. It's not about me being completely right, it's just my opinion, and if you've got a different one, then let me know why you think you know, a player should be in God tier, or maybe they shouldn't be in God tier. So let me know in the comments. Make sure you drop a like as well, that's greatly appreciated. It helps the algorithm, helps my video get out there a little bit more, and even if you want to dislike it, it kind of helps as well, so it's a win-win situation. But if you are also not subscribed, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and we'll do this one with the next promo, and I'm probably going to do this with some hero cards, with some different budgets, like, you know, strikers under 500,000 coins. We'll do some different tiers in the future, so make sure you subscribe so you can see that video. So thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you later. Bye bye.